What is going on, Supers? We've got an absolutely huge first episode of Opposition Views. We are here with TikTok sensation, part of the Kick It Forward podcast, and an avid GWS fan, Josh Garlepp. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, heaps, Swoop. Thanks for having me.
No worries. I saw you come in full gear. You're ready for the war on Saturday?
Yeah, big time, big time. Should be a big hit out, a bit of livestock out there. And I mean, my boys, because we're ready. We've been training. We've been in the field. We're ready to take on you guys and bring sort of settle the score from last year. Because obviously, things didn't go our way. It was a great battle. But I think a lot of Giants fans and there's a lot of us would be pretty upset with the result and are ready to bounce back.
Yeah, and just about that, you mentioned livestock, and we can kick it off here with Coxie. And how did you feel as a GWS supporter? How did you feel about what he was saying?
Well, I'm gonna get it. Like, it's hard to compare to the MCG, but also like a bit insulting, Big Coxie. I didn't think it was fair for some fans to say they wanted to kill him, but I also think there was somewhere in the middle there of maybe just like a bit of banter.
Yeah.
Hopefully the ground's good. It's a great ground, Giant Stadium. Good seat everywhere. You can just walk in and really enjoy the show. But yeah, I fired up a bit, but I think it's good before round one to have everyone sort of firing on all cylinders. And when Mason Cox is saying something, people respond whether it's positive or negative. So I was fired up. And me and my friends have been mooing there. There's been a call to fans to moo every time Mason Cox get the ball. I'm going to stand by that. I think we moo, embrace it because they can't make fun of us and say, hey, look, you guys, you're crazy when we're mooing with everyone,
No, 100%, and you know what they say: a moo makes the world go round. So Mason Cox is welcoming. He's going to welcome the livestock sort of thing there. Look, just in regards to that, the GWS social media team, they've been on point this season. They're really touting it up, and Cooper Hamilton just released another video. How do you see the war on social media going as well?
Well, I think we're winning. If we're going to win anything, it's probably the social media game. The premierships are one thing, but probably the likes and the follows. That's probably the main push for us in 2024. Now, Cooper Hamilton, I mean, I'd actually like find it pretty tough to be putting out so many jokes and then running out there where people can physically harm you every single week. But I mean, there's no fear from this team. We're going to approach it like any giant, and there's a reason we call it Giants because we're really big. And we're going to go there and win. And I think the social media side of it, it's all a bit of fun. Maybe Collingwood need to pick up their game a bit. Stop these inspirational movies. Have it a bit of tongue in cheek for once. And if you had some of your special effects, 'cause apparently there's big special effect budget, reduce that and then put it into memes. I don't know. Maybe you guys could go one further this year.
I agree, mate. Like there's a premiership, then there's a social media premiership, which the Giants have won for the last couple of weeks. A couple of years, sorry, not just a couple of weeks.
No, completely. I completely agree. And yeah, Jacob Gaynor, the guy down there, he's doing a really good job there. And it's obviously a very small team. And it's actually, probably doing the AFL's job in a way of like expanding the reach of the team with not a big budget. So jokes aside, he's doing a great job. And also Collingwood are doing a pretty good job too. Like, to be fair, you got a look inside the rooms last year. And me being a pretty big GWS fan, I must admit, it is annoying how like, they're a pretty likable team sometimes, which makes you like really angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry, I blacked out a bit. I got a bit angry.
No, look, that's okay, mate. That's fine. Look, I want to talk about your passion for the Giants, and we saw you last year at the prelim, and I think I can't remember who kicked that goal, but right at the last quarter, you were going absolutely nuts. In it looked like a corporate suite, and some people are saying that the Giants were buying you off just to get your sort of support there and get your face on TV. Do you have any response to that?
Oh my God. I said I'd walk. I said I was not going to talk about this. Firstly, Swoop Luke. Secondly, I was there under my own like choice of trying to find a pub in Sydney that's showing the game. Yes, I saw there were cameras there. Yes, me and a couple of GWS fans rocked it up and we enjoyed it. And you know what? When they turned to the camera, we were fired up. We were fired up. And to all the people that said he must have a brain injury 2 days later, well, look who's laughing now, mate. Okay? All those thousands of people, Collingwood fans mostly, I thought that was pretty bloody ironic.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, and you look very well to me right now. No sign of any sort of brain injury or anything like that.
Yep, yeah. No, not at all. But no, that game that was a bit fortuitous. That in the randomly, my dad happened to be ill last year, and I was over in Sydney, and we had a win in the room, and I just happened to see this sort of somewhat serendipitously that they were showing the game somewhere. So we went around, and then I walked in, and there were the Channel 7 cameras, and yes, we got free beers and a couple free hats, but like I had to take off my old GWS hat and put on a new one.
Yeah.
So people were saying that it was rent a crowd, but in reality, it was just crowd.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I know you're from Perth. Are you getting over to the you're getting over to the game, right? And you're going to be there right in the middle of the cheer squad?
Well, yeah, definitely. I definitely will be there. I've got the Spirit membership, so so my Spirit will be there, and then I actually met some of the GWS girls over the summer too, and my Spirit was with them as well. They had a couple big wins. So yeah, I've got the Spirit membership. I probably will be watching it in Freo, but you know, yeah, obviously I will be there. I will be watching it though. I'm interested to see how we back it up. I'm actually a bit worried. I've got a bit of inside goss here, and this is completely unsubstantiated. Sorry, my face is a bit itchy.
Yeah, I bet.
A listener to our podcast, the Kick It Forward podcast, he said that he works at the ground and said that they had a like a K-pop or a Chinese pop star there about 6 days ago, and the ground was covered for 5 days with no sun and no ground protection, and it could actually be quite a bit rough before the game. So, bit of a scoop, a swoop, if you will. But that's completely unsubstantiated. But it should be a good game. I think like a lot of people were saying it's bullshit. It's there. It'll be a good game regardless, and it's actually a pretty good stadium. So I don't know, I hope my boys get the win, but I think we're all just fingers crossed for a good game like Never Surrender.
Yeah, 100%. And talking about Never Surrender, how do you feel about this season sort of going forward? You're facing the Premiers first up, a couple of hard games in your first couple of rounds. You were off the grand final by a point. What do you see as the natural progression for your Giant boys?
Probably world champions. Well, I think they're really high. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they don't finish top 4 this year, because obviously there's such a big amount of teams in the top 6, top 8. Like it's so hard to make the 8 now. They had an amazing run to end the season. They obviously were stumbling a lot early under a new coach, but I think there's a lot of optimism. They have leaders. They got some really young guys as well that are playing really well. And when Toby Green, if he stays like uninjured, you know, there's a guy that can lead you into any fight. So we say never surrender, and we bloody mean it. Yeah. What about yourself? Are you worried at all?
Yeah. Now that I'm talking to you, I don't really talk to a lot of Giants fans, and you're actually striking the fear of God through me. It's going to be a big game, and it's always a big game whenever Collingwood play, and bigger against your mob after what we've done to you guys in the prelim. And no, I'm really excited, but yeah, now I'm a little bit nervous, mate.
Does Jeremy Howe going down potentially hurt your chances? Because we kind of had, you know, like he's pretty good.
He's very good. Jeremy Howe going down and Nathan Murphy going down probably does help the Giants quite a bit. Going to be stretched in the defense. Have Billy Frampton down there. Have Charlie Dean probably debut. It might be your boys that sort of get on top in that sense. But what about our forwards? Lachie Schultz coming in, a Fremantle lad.
Don't talk to me about Schultz, okay? It's too painful because I'm a Giants fan, and we know that the expansion clubs.
Yep.
They work hard to get players, and they get poached all the time. And then Lachie Schultz, he went to Williamstown in the VFL before he got drafted, then ends up at Freo, and you know, was an amazing mature age pickup, and then became, you know, our most reliable forward, despite a lot of people saying he's not that good. And then he just goes, and I'm going to miss those quads at the Giants. But I just think he's going to be probably the biggest in for you guys. Like he's so good and just so consistent, and he'll get so open and such good delivery. I'm excited for him. And you know what? I'm happy for him. I'm happy for everyone.
Of course.
And I've been like a foundation man with the Giants for at least since I was 25 years. And to see guys like him go there and not consider the Giants, it's tough. But yeah, that is a huge in for you guys. You've got great forwards and a good mix of young and old. Even with losing Ginnivan, it's tough. It's crazy that you got better.
Yeah, it is, and Lachie Schultz looks like every sense that he's going to be an absolutely incredible forward and an incredible pickup, and thankfully he chose the Pies. Look, I just want to talk about you know, you're based in Western Australia, and there's all of this talk about that bloody Harley Reid, right? All the back pages, and someone's getting fired for not posting about Harley Reid or whatever it may be. As a Giants supporter living in WA, are you? How does that make you feel that the Giants aren't plastered everywhere when you sort of walk around the state?
Well, I don't mean this to be a pun, but we're kind of the sleeping giant of WA footy fans.
Yep.
There's a lot of us, like you always see Giants tops in the stadium, orange faces when it's like a derby.
Yep.
But the Harley Reid thing's very interesting. Like the whole premise of it, because on one hand, like you're promoting the game, it's one thing to get excited for. Yes, there's a huge percentage of footy fans in WA are West Coast fans. So I understand the paper, like just trying to get around something. They also like to sort of troll. Like you got to picture them like Jabba the Hutt, and he's got all these wires going out,
Yep.
and everyone thinks, oh, why would the paper do this? But you got to remember they're an engagement monster. They're not caring about Walkleys or positive feedback.
Cool.
They want, and I used to work for them. They want any reaction. It's like clickbait. It's like trolling someone. Any reaction is positive. So they get to the point where, like, even before his game, like we made a fake article about it and people thought it was real. But even before his debut in a preseason match, like the back page was all eyes on Reid, and the next was Prince of Perth, the same thing. And I think, like, is there a responsibility of the media to probably go a little bit easy on him? Probably, like a little bit, maybe temper the expectation. Because look at the data from number one draft picks. Like not all of them are good.
100%.
There's a lot of injuries. Look at like Morabito for Freo. So I keep bringing up Freo. I don't know why I keep doing it, but like they like he was so good, and like some guys just never make it on the track. So I feel for him a little bit. On the other side, like any guy would put themselves in that position. Yeah. So I watch with bated breath when it doesn't clash with obviously GWS games, because I think they've got that really popular 11 a.m. Saturday time slot locked away this year, West Coast.
Yeah, which is incredibly huge, and I think that's obviously a conversation for it could be a larger conversation about just footy media in general, which is just, and we see it now. Now that's and I'll just quickly touch on it, where all the players have just opened up after the game. Anyone can get a talking to from the media, and there's always going to be slip ups. It's just going to be littered around sort of back pages, and it's going to be an interesting year, especially for media-wise. Clickbait. You would have seen the Sam McClure things with Carlton and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, where Sam was saying he expects them to win the premiership.
Yep.
Well, I think like the one thing you have to remember that too, Sam's in like talkback now. Sam's like paid to have an opinion. He probably does believe it, but with all those things, it's like, well, why am I going? Yeah, they're a pragmatic approach of they're a 60% chance of winning. Nah, you know what? Like, I believe they're going to be better than people think. Let's just say they win the premiership. I think that's where he goes with those guys. Whenever I like see Kane Corns or Sam McClure or anything like that, I actually find Kane Corns really, really funny. I think he's actually like low key. Him and David King are hell funny, because they just like lean into it. They lean into the villain, or they lean into it a little bit. And I think Sam McClure now he's got that sort of platform. He does that now. You know, Carlton might not even make the eight. That's the reality. It's so competitive, but they had a really good season last year. So it's good to say these things preseason. That's the funniest thing about preseason. Everyone go orange in the face, going nuts about their team because there's been no ramifications yet. There's been no games. And come round one, it's always good to bet round one. I'm not like the biggest better, but like because there's such a shift round one to round two on who wins and who loses. Because in the end, not many people know shit.
Exactly, especially in the preseason. But I know you know your shit, and I know you know your shit about the Giants. So tell me, what are your predictions for Saturday night?
Predictions. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants get this one. They're ready. They're going to have a lot of growth from the young guys. I don't want to sound biased, but they might win by 1,000 points. But
fair enough. Yep.
Yeah. But I think it'll be a good game, and both teams are obviously going to be good this year. Oh, God, my sign's falling.
Yeah, I just noticed that pies suck or something, right? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, red and wheat.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, fair enough.
That's Ramsey Street, by the way. Found that in Neighbours.
Well,
and oh shit, that's not lunch. And then Yeah, I think both teams are going to be great this year. McRae is not the sort. From everything you hear from him, he's not going to take a step backward.
Yep.
I have a couple of mates at work in England in sport, and they went to this off season like speech talk from like coaches and GMs from all around the world and conditioning. And McRae and Selwood spoke at it, and they were actually so surprised at how amazing he was. And this was just prior to the premiership season, so.
Yep.
I think that's the one thing you keep hearing about it. They'll be good. But I think you get the same sort of thing, but with the pipes.
Of course. Of course, yeah. And a 1,000-point win means what? Cadman kicks about 60 something goals?
60 goals. I got Toby Green to probably like 70 and 4 face kicks and and then maybe like 150,000 crying Pies fans.
Yeah, that's huge. And the stadium only holds 25,000. So to have 150 at that ground will be absolutely incredible, especially for the Giants and especially with the NRL back in Sydney as opposed to in Las Vegas as well. That'll be really good for Sydney.
Yeah, it'd be great for Sydney. There's actually a stat: a crying Collingwood fan is twice as likely to purchase hospitality than a happy one. So, it's good for everyone in the Sydney district, and hopefully the GS Giants, get a bit more pocket money for maybe the mid-season trade period.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I wish you all the best for the Giants this season. Tell me, or tell the Pies fans, and tell your avid Giants supporters where we can find you on TikTok and podcast and all that jazz.
With the Kick It Forward podcast, we're on TikTok and Instagram. We make sketches, a lot about AFL as well during the footy season. So get around that. And to the Pies fan, we're coming for you, mooing and all. Get around the Giants because we all bleed orange, and you don't want to look back at the year, think you haven't put in your cheers and you've got egg in your face. That would be silly. You don't want to look crazy out there.
Of course. And just quickly before I leave you, it'd be remiss of me not to ask, who actually is training the house down at Giants Stadium?
Yeah, good point. Well, I'm guessing the Chinese pop star we spoke about is torn it to shreds.
Yeah. And good luck and power to her. And I hope the Giants boys enjoyed that.
Thanks, mate. Have a good one.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. See ya.